The sleek spacecraft tumbled through Earth's atmosphere, trailing fire and smoke. Inside, Era Kim struggled with the controls as warning lights flashed across the command console. Her mission to observe the blue planet had gone terribly wrong when a space debris field damaged her propulsion system. Impact imminent, the ship's AI announced calmly, initiating emergency protocols. Era gripped her seat as the vessel plummeted toward a heavily forested area. The ship's outer hull glowed red-hot as it sliced through the air. She closed her eyes, preparing for the worst. The crash sent trees snapping like twigs. Metal tore and systems failed as the craft carved a long scar through the forest floor. When the ship finally came to rest in a small clearing, silence fell. Inside, Era lay motionless, her blue-tinged skin growing pale. Miles away, Dr. Topark looked up from his workbench. He had heard the distant boom and felt the slight tremor that followed. Living alone in this remote cabin had its benefits: peace, quiet, and no one to disturb his research. But something about that sound made him uneasy. Ta grabbed his jacket and emergency kit. As a biophysicist who had retreated from the academic world after disagreements with his colleagues, he valued his privacy. Yet his curiosity and sense of duty wouldn't let him ignore what might be a plane crash or some other disaster. He hiked through the dense forest, following the direction of the sound. The smell of burnt material and disturbed earth guided him. After 30 minutes of difficult terrain, he froze at the edge of a freshly made clearing. What lay before him was unmistakably not from Earth. The vessel was sleek and metallic, with no wings or visible engines. Despite the damage from impact, its advanced design was obvious. Tai approached cautiously, his scientific mind racing with questions and possibilities. As he neared the craft, a panel slid open with a soft hiss. A holographic display appeared in midair, showing symbols he couldn't understand before shifting to English text. Biological entity detected, an artificial voice stated. Analyzing composition. Human physiology confirmed. Compatibility scan in progress. Ta stepped back. Hello? Is someone hurt in there? The AI continued. Pilot life signs critical. Emergency intervention required. Human biological matrix shows 89% compatibility with emergency life support systems. Todd peered into the opening. Inside, he saw her, clearly female but subtly alien. Her skin had a faint blue luminescence, and her features, while humanoid, were too perfect to be human. Blood of an unusual purple hue seeped from wounds on her head and torso. The pilot requires immediate biological support to survive, the AI explained. Your cellular energy can sustain her until proper repairs are possible. My energy? Tai asked, confused. What does that mean? Her species evolved as energy symbionts. Your bioelectric field and cellular processes can serve as a temporary life support system while she heals. Ta hesitated. This was beyond anything he had studied, even in his advanced biophysics research. Yet as a scientist, he understood enough to grasp the concept. This alien being needed something akin to a biological battery to survive. Will it harm me? He asked. The process is symbiotic, not parasitic. Minimal discomfort may occur. Connection can be terminated if danger presents to either host. Tai thought quickly. His isolation meant no one would miss him for weeks if something went wrong. But he couldn't leave an injured being to die, human or not. What do I need to do? He finally asked. The AI guided him through removing Era from the damaged craft. She was lighter than expected, her body seemingly built for a different gravity. As he carried her to a flat area nearby, he noticed patterns on her skin that seemed to pulse faintly. Place your hand on the device emerging from the ship's panel, the AI instructed. A small cylinder had extended from the craft. When Tai touched it, it unfolded like a mechanical flower, revealing a glowing core. Now place her hand alongside yours. He guided Era's limp arm, pressing her palm against the device next to his. Immediately, a tingling sensation spread up his arm and throughout his body. It wasn't painful, but it was intense, like static electricity flowing through his veins. A soft glow formed between their hands, spreading to encompass them both. Ta gasped as unexpected images flooded his mind. Stars from unfamiliar angles, planets with rings and multiple moons, cities made of crystal and light. He was seeing her memories. The glow faded after a minute, but Ta could still feel a connection between them, like a thin thread of energy linking their bodies. Era's breathing grew stronger, and her wounds began to close slightly. Initial emergency support established. The AI announced, "Pilot stabilizing. Full recovery requires maintained proximity for approximately 7 Earth days." Tai felt a presence in his mind, faint but distinct. It was her consciousness, separate from his but connected. "Can you hear me?" he thought, feeling foolish. To his shock, he received a response, not in words exactly, but in a feeling of acknowledgement. Era's eyes fluttered open. They were deep violet with no visible pupils, just a darker center that expanded as she focused on him. She tried to speak, but the words were in an unknown language. "I don't understand," Ha said. She closed her eyes again, concentrating. When she reopened them, she spoke haltingly in English. "Where am I?" "Earth. My name is Ta. Your ship crashed." Understanding dawned in her eyes, followed by alarm. "The emergency protocol. It connected us." Ta nodded. "Your AI said you needed my energy to survive." She struggled to sit up. This wasn't supposed to happen. No direct contact. Not yet. In the distance, the sound of helicopters grew louder. Someone had noticed the crash. "We need to move," Ta said urgently. "Others are coming, and I don't think they'll be as understanding." He helped Ara to her feet. Though still weak, she could walk with his support. The connection between them seemed to strengthen her with each passing minute. "My ship," she said, looking back. "We'll have to leave it. Can you travel? My cabin is a few miles from here." She nodded, then looked directly into his eyes. "Why did you help me?" Ta considered the question as the helicopter sounds grew closer. "Because that's what humans do," he answered simply. "Or at least, what we should do." Together, they moved into the forest, away from the crash site, as government vehicles approached in the distance. Their journey had just begun. The forest grew darker as Tai led Era away from the crash site. Every few minutes, they paused to rest as Era struggled to keep up. The strange connection between them pulsed with each step, a constant reminder of their unusual bond. "We need to hurry," Ta said, glancing over his shoulder. The sound of helicopters had faded, but he knew searchers would fan out once they found the crashed ship. Era nodded weakly. Her violet eyes seemed to glow in the dimming light. "The symbiosis is still stabilizing. I am drawing too much energy from you." Ta felt the drain she mentioned, a subtle fatigue that went beyond physical tiredness. Yet somehow, it didn't bother him as much as it should have. "I can handle it. My cabin is just beyond that ridge." They continued through the forest, with Ta supporting more of Era's weight as they climbed the gentle slope. At the top, his cabin came into view, a modest structure of wood and stone, isolated from the nearest town by miles of wilderness. "You live alone here?" Era asked, her English improving by the minute as she absorbed language patterns through their connection. "Yes, I needed space for my research." Ta helped her down the path toward the cabin. Privacy to work without interruption. As they approached the door, Era stumbled. Ta caught her before she fell, and in that moment of direct contact, the connection between them flared. Images flooded his mind. A massive ship orbiting a distant planet, beings with the same luminescent skin as Era, and strange technology beyond his understanding. "I'm sorry," Era said, regaining her balance. "When we touch directly, the link strengthens." Inside the cabin, Ta helped Ara to the couch. The simple one-room structure contained his living quarters and laboratory equipment, with a small kitchen area and fireplace. He quickly lit a fire to ward off the evening chill. "You need to eat," he said, noticing her weakened state. Can you consume our food? The ship's analysis indicates compatibility with most of your carbohydrates and proteins, she replied. My body will convert them to usable energy. Tai prepared a simple meal of rice, vegetables, and fish. As they ate, he observed how carefully she mimicked his movements, learning human dining customs in real time. Your ship's AI mentioned you evolved as energy symbionts, Ta said between bites. What does that mean exactly? Era set down her fork. My species, the Nuri, once depended entirely on biological hosts. Not like parasites, true mutualistic relationships where both species benefited. She touched the glowing patterns on her arm. These markings are biological interfaces evolved over millions of years for energy exchange. And now, over time, we developed technology to sustain ourselves independently. The symbiotic ability became vestigial, rarely used except in emergencies. She looked at him seriously. Like now. After dinner, Tai checked the news on his small radio. Reports of an unidentified object crashing in the forest had already hit the airwaves. Government officials were calling it a meteorite, but military personnel had cordoned off the area. They'll search house to house eventually, Ta said, turning off the radio. We need a plan. Era stood shakily and walked to the window. I need to repair my communication device to contact my ship. With proper medical equipment, they can heal me without this. She gestured between them, indicating their connection. How long will the repairs take? 3 of your days, perhaps 4. The emergency transmitter was damaged in the crash. Tata felt a wave of fatigue wash over him and sat heavily on the couch. Era noticed immediately and came to sit beside him. The energy drain is affecting you more than you admit, she said. There is something I can do to balance the flow. She hesitantly extended her hand. May I? Ta nodded, and she placed her palm against his. The strange tingling sensation returned, but instead of drawing energy from him, he felt a wave of warmth and strength flowing in the opposite direction. How are you doing that? He asked, amazed as his fatigue lifted. Returning some of what I've borrowed, converted through my biological processes, she explained. The symbiosis isn't meant to be one-sided. In the ancient days, my ancestors provided benefits to their hosts. Enhanced healing, increased cognitive function, improved immunity. As she spoke, Ta noticed his senses sharpening. Colors seemed brighter, sounds clearer. I can feel it, he said. It's like everything is more intense. A side effect of the connection. It will become stronger as our bond stabilizes. The sound of a distant vehicle broke their moment of discovery. Lights swept across the windows as a car passed on the distant road. Search parties, Ta said. We should rest tonight and leave at first light. He prepared a makeshift bed for Era while taking the couch for himself. As they settled in for the night, Ta found he could sense her presence even with his eyes closed, a soft awareness at the edge of his consciousness. Ta, Era said softly in the darkness. I must tell you something important. What is it? The connection between us. It's becoming more than an emergency measure. The longer we remain linked, the more permanent it becomes. Ta sat up. What does that mean? My people haven't used this ability in generations. The medical protocols were designed for temporary connections. But she paused. Your biology is responding unusually strongly. The integration is happening faster than it should. Is it dangerous? Not immediately, but separation may become more difficult with time. Tai processed this information. As a scientist, he should be alarmed, yet part of him was fascinated by this unprecedented experience. We'll deal with that when we have to, he finally said. For now, we need to focus on contacting your people. In the middle of the night, Tai woke suddenly. Something had changed. He could feel Era's distress before he heard her soft moans. He rushed to her side and found her shivering, her skin's luminescence flickering erratically. What's wrong? He asked. My system, rejecting something, she gasped. Need stabilization. Acting on instinct rather than knowledge, Tai took her hands in his. The connection between them pulsed painfully at first, then steadied as he focused on the mental image of energy flowing smoothly between them. Gradually, her breathing evened out. The glow of her skin stabilized, returning to its gentle blue luminescence. "Thank you," she whispered. The bond was weakening. "What can I do to help?" "Stay close," she said, her violet eyes meeting his. "The transition is difficult, but necessary." As dawn approached, Tay realized the truth of their situation. This wasn't just about hiding from authorities or repairing a communication device. They were becoming something neither of their species had experienced before, a true symbiotic pair, dependent on each other in ways neither fully understood. And somewhere deep in his mind, he sensed that Era was keeping another secret about what this connection might ultimately mean for both of them. Morning sunlight filtered through the cabin windows as Todd woke with a start. His dreams had been filled with strange planets and alien cities, memories that weren't his own. He found Ara sitting cross-legged on the floor, her eyes closed in deep concentration. The patterns on her skin pulsed with gentle light. "You're awake," she said without opening her eyes. "I felt your consciousness stir." Tai sat up, noticing immediately that he felt stronger than he should. Despite providing energy to Ara, he felt more alert and physically capable than normal. "Something's different," he said, flexing his hand. "I feel enhanced." Era opened her violet eyes. "The symbiosis is developing. My biology is now returning benefits to yours. It's how the relationship was meant to function." Ta walked to the small bathroom and looked in the mirror. His appearance hadn't changed, but when he focused, he could see with unusual clarity, down to the individual pores on his skin. "This is incredible," he said, returning to the main room. "My senses are sharper." "A simple adaptation," Era explained, rising to her feet with more strength than she'd shown yesterday. "Your cellular structure is remarkably adaptive. Most species resist such changes." Todd prepared a quick breakfast, his movements notably more precise and efficient. As they ate, he asked the question that had been bothering him since their meeting. "Why were you watching Earth? What was your mission?" Ara set down her cup of tea. "My people, the Nuri, have been observing Earth for centuries. I was collecting final assessments before official first contact." "First contact, like in science fiction." "Yes, though reality is more complex than your stories suggest. We establish specific criteria before revealing ourselves to developing worlds." "And Earth qualified?" Tai asked, feeling a mix of pride and concern. "Almost." Era's expression grew serious. "Your technological development has reached the threshold, but we had concerns about your societal stability." Tai couldn't argue with that assessment. "So what happens now?" "Your crash has forced contact ahead of schedule. It complicates matters," she admitted. "Direct interaction before formal protocols is strictly forbidden. I've violated our most important directive." Before Tai could respond, he felt a strange sensation, an awareness of movement at the edge of the forest. He turned toward the window instinctively. "Someone's coming," he said with certainty, though he couldn't see anyone yet. Ara looked alarmed. "How do you know?" "I just feel it." Ta moved to the window and peered out. In the distance, he spotted figures moving through the trees, men in dark uniforms carrying equipment. Government agents. They're searching cabins in the area. "The symbiosis is enhancing your perceptive abilities," Era explained quickly. "We need to leave." They gathered essential supplies, food, water, and tools Era needed for her communication device. As they prepared to flee through the back door, Ta grabbed his research notes. "We can't leave those behind," Era warned. "If they contain information about me." "They don't," Tai assured her. "But they're my life's work. I can't lose them." They slipped out the back just as vehicles approached the front of the cabin. Moving through the forest with newfound stealth and agility, Tai was amazed at how easily he navigated the difficult terrain. He could sense the searchers' positions and instinctively chose paths to avoid detection. After an hour of careful travel, they reached a small cave hidden behind a waterfall. The sound of rushing water would mask their presence from tracking equipment. "We should be safe here for now," Ta said, arranging their supplies. "How soon can you repair your communicator?" Era removed components from her pockets. "With these parts, perhaps 2 days. But there's something you should know." Her tone made Ta pause. "What is it?" "The connection between us is becoming more permanent with each passing hour. I can feel your thoughts more clearly, access your memories. Can you feel mine?" Ta closed his eyes and concentrated. Behind his conscious thoughts, he sensed another presence, alien yet familiar. When he focused on it, images surfaced. A vast ship orbiting Jupiter, meetings with beings of different species, discussions about Earth's future. "I can see your ship," he said slowly. "Your crew, your mission." He opened his eyes suddenly. "You're not just observing Earth. You're evaluating it for something specific." Era didn't deny it. "Yes, Earth holds strategic importance in this sector of space. Its biological diversity is unmatched. And its position. Its position near what you call the galactic transit point," Ta finished, pulling the knowledge from their shared consciousness. "How much can you access?" Era asked, concerned. "Enough to understand why your people are interested in Earth." Ta sat down, processing the implications. "You need allies in this region of space. There's some kind of territorial dispute with another species." Era nodded. "The Nuri believe in peaceful cooperation. Others do not share this philosophy. Earth's development has reached a critical stage. You're either going to destroy yourselves or emerge as a spacefaring civilization. We hoped to guide that transition." Tai sorted through the fragments of knowledge flowing into his mind. "There's something else. Something about human biology that surprised your scientists." Era hesitated before speaking. "Your species generates an unusual amount of bioelectric energy. Your brain chemistry, cellular structure, even your emotional responses produce energy patterns we've never seen in other life forms. Is that why our connection is different? Why it's affecting me this way?" "Yes, human biology is like nothing we've encountered. The symbiosis protocol was never tested on humans because we didn't anticipate direct contact yet." She looked at him with a mixture of fascination and concern. "Your body isn't just sustaining me, it's enhancing me. And I'm enhancing you in return." As she spoke, Ta felt a sudden sharp pain behind his eyes. Images flooded his mind. Classified Nuri information about Earth, about humans, about potential futures. Knowledge he wasn't supposed to have. "This information," he gasped, pressing his hands to his temples. "The symbiosis is breaking through my mental barriers," Era said, moving quickly to his side. "Knowledge that should be restricted is transferring to you." She placed her hands on either side of his face, focusing on stabilizing their connection. The pain subsided, but the knowledge remained. "I know what your people plan for Earth," Ta said quietly. "I know about the competing factions in your government. Some want to help humanity evolve. Others see us as useful resources." Era lowered her hands. "Now you understand the danger we're in. If my superiors discover how much you know, they might decide you're a security risk." "And you? What do you believe?" "I believe we should guide humanity's development," she said. "But this connection between us has shown me something my people overlooked. Humans aren't just another developing species. You're something unique." In the distance, they heard dogs barking. The search was intensifying. "We need to keep moving," Ta said, helping Era gather the communication components. "And while we travel, you can tell me exactly what your people didn't understand about humans." As they prepared to leave, Tay realized that their fates were now irrevocably linked. The knowledge they shared could either save 2 worlds or doom them both. Tai and Ara moved quickly through the dense forest, keeping to areas with heavy tree cover. Their connection had grown stronger overnight, giving Tai enhanced stamina and reflexes he never knew were possible. He could sense the search teams long before seeing them, allowing the pair to change direction whenever danger approached. "They're using thermal imaging now," Ta said, pausing to listen to the distant sound of helicopters. His hearing had sharpened dramatically, another gift from their symbiotic bond. Era nodded, her violet eyes scanning the forest canopy. "My body temperature differs from yours. It will create a distinctive heat signature they can track." They had been on the move for nearly 18 hours, stopping only for brief rest periods. Ara worked on her communication device whenever they paused, carefully assembling components salvaged from her crashed ship. "We need to find higher ground," she said, securing the half-finished device in her makeshift pack. "Mountains would be best. The signal needs clear access to orbit." Todd pointed to a ridge visible through the trees. "There's an old fire lookout tower on that mountain. It's abandoned now, but it would give us elevation and shelter." As they changed course toward the mountain, Todd felt a sudden sharp awareness from their bond. Era felt it too. Her luminescent skin pulsed brighter for a moment. "They'd found something," she said. Ty closed his eyes, focusing on the strange sensory information flowing through their connection. "They're at the cave we used last night. Dogs have picked up our scent." They quickened their pace, moving with a synchronized efficiency it would have been impossible days earlier. The mountain loomed closer, but the day was fading, and they would need to climb in darkness. "Tell me more about your species," Ta said as they began the ascent up a steep trail. "You mentioned you once depended entirely on hosts." Era ducked under a low-hanging branch. "The Nuri evolved on a world with intense radiation cycles. To survive, our ancestors formed symbiotic relationships with larger, more radiation-resistant species, like remora fish attached to sharks on Earth. Similar, but more cooperative, we provided benefits to our hosts: enhanced healing, disease resistance, improved sensory capabilities. In return, they protected us from radiation and provided biological energy." Ta helped her over a particularly difficult section of trail. "What changed?" "Technology. As we developed protective habitats and energy conversion systems, the need for biological hosts diminished. Within a few thousand years, the symbiotic ability became vestigial, rarely used, often forgotten." "Yet you still retain the capacity," Ta noted. "Yes, though few remember how to activate it fully. The emergency protocols in my ship were designed for last resort situations." She looked at him with genuine curiosity. "But the connection we formed is different from anything in our records." "How so?" "The level of integration, the speed of adaptation. Most species resist the symbiotic process. Their immune systems fight the connection. Yours embraced it." She paused, seemingly hesitant to continue. "There's more, isn't there?" Ta prompted. Era nodded. "Your cellular structure is continuing to change, adapt. The energy exchange has become more efficient than anything my people have documented." Before Tai could ask more questions, the sound of a helicopter grew suddenly louder. They pressed themselves against the rocky mountainside as a searchlight swept the forest below. "They're using some kind of advanced tracking technology," Ta whispered. "Something beyond standard equipment." Through their connection, he felt Era's realization. "They must have salvaged sensors from my ship. Nuri technology could easily detect our energy signature." The helicopter circled wider, its searchlight methodically covering the mountainside. They remained motionless until it passed beyond the ridge. "We need to move faster," Ta said. "Can you boost our physical capabilities through the bond?" "It's risky," Era replied. "Further enhancement will accelerate the integration between us." "We don't have a choice." "They're closing in." Era placed her palm against his. The familiar warmth of their connection intensified, spreading through Ta's body like liquid fire. His muscles felt stronger, his reactions quicker. Even his vision changed, allowing him to see clearly in the growing darkness. They climbed with new speed and agility, scaling sections of the mountain that would have been impossible for Tai alone. Within an hour, they'd reached the abandoned fire tower. The structure was weathered but stable, providing a perfect vantage point. As Tai secured the door, Era began final assembly of her communication device. "Once I establish contact, my ship can extract us," she explained, connecting delicate components with precise movements. "But there's something you need to understand first." Tai sat across from her, feeling the weight of her concern through their bond. "What is it?" "If we complete this communication, my superiors will know about our connection. They'll know a human has accessed classified information about Nuri operations. Will they see it as a breach of security?" "Some will." Era's expression was grave. "Others will see it as an unexpected opportunity." "What do you mean?" "Your biology, Ta. The way it interacts with mine. It's unprecedented." She set down her tools and looked directly at him. "Human cellular energy production exceeds anything we've documented in thousands of worlds. Your adaptive capacity, neural processing, they're extraordinary." Todd processed this information. "So when your ship said I was compatible, it wasn't just saying you could sustain me. It was recognizing that humans possess biological qualities the Nuri thought impossible in naturally evolved species." The implication slowly dawned on Ta. "Your people have been watching Earth, evaluating us as potential allies or resources, but you didn't understand what humans truly are." "No, we didn't," Era admitted. "We saw your wars, your environmental damage, your technological limitations. We categorized Earth as a developing world with strategic value, but significant risks. And now I understand why humans have advanced so quickly despite your limitations. Your biology contains untapped potential beyond anything my people projected." A sudden noise from below interrupted their conversation. Todd moved to the window and saw flashlights moving up the trail. "Government teams," he said. "At least 12 agents. They'll reach us within 30 minutes." Era worked faster on her device. "I need more time. The calibration is delicate." Todd felt a strange calm despite their dire situation. Through their connection, he could sense possibilities unfolding, paths and potentials his human mind couldn't have conceived days earlier. "I think I can slow them down," he said with sudden certainty. "How?" Era looked up from her work. "The symbiosis has changed me more than you've admitted. I can feel abilities just beyond my reach." He closed his eyes, focusing on the new awareness growing within him. "Show me how to access them." Era hesitated, then set down her tools. "If I do this, the integration between us will accelerate. Separation may become impossible." "We're beyond that concern now," Ta said, his resolve firm. "They're hunting us because they fear what they don't understand. It's time to show them exactly what they're dealing with." As government agents climbed toward their position and Era's communications device neared completion, Tai prepared to embrace the full potential of their unique bond, a union that would forever change the relationship between their species. The fire tower creaked in the night wind as Era made final adjustments to her communication device. Outside, the government agents continued their steady climb up the mountain trail, their flashlights cutting through the darkness like searching fingers. "They'll be here in 15 minutes, Ta said, his enhanced senses tracking their movements. Era connected the last component, causing the device to emit a soft blue glow. "It's ready, but I need time to establish a stable connection with my ship." Ta moved to the window, watching the approaching lights. Through their bond, he could feel new abilities stirring within him, powers born from their deepening symbiosis. He closed his eyes and focused on this unfamiliar energy. "Guide me," he said to Era. "Show me how to use what we've created." Era stood behind him, placing her luminescent hands on his shoulders. "Focus on the energy flow between us. Imagine it extending beyond our bodies." Tai concentrated, feeling the warm current of their shared energy. Under Era's guidance, he learned to direct it outward. The air around his hands began to shimmer with a faint blue light. "Remarkable," Era whispered. "Your control is intuitive." Tai opened his eyes and looked at his glowing hands. "What exactly can I do with this?" "Disrupt electronic equipment, create energy barriers, influence electrical systems. The applications depend on your focus and intent. Ta nodded and moved to the tower's entrance. Begin your transmission. I'll buy us time. He descended the wooden stairs to the ground level and stepped outside. The night air felt cool against his skin as he positioned himself between the tower and the approaching agents. Focusing as Era had taught him, he directed energy toward the forest floor. The effect was immediate. The ground between him and the agents illuminated with a web of blue light, spreading through roots and soil. When the first agents reached this area, their equipment failed instantly, flashlights dying, radios emitting only static, and thermal imaging devices showing nothing but snow. "What the hell?" one agent called out. "All systems down." Tad remained still, concentrating on maintaining the energy field. Through their connection, he felt Era's progress. Her signal was reaching orbit, searching for her ship. The lead agent cautiously approached the glowing boundary. "Identify yourself," he shouted. "I mean no harm," Tay replied calmly, "but I cannot let you interfere." The agent drew his weapon, but as it crossed the energy field, its electronic components failed. Several agents attempted to advance, but each time they touched the glowing ground, they recoiled as if shocked. "He's protecting the alien," someone shouted. "Call for backup." Inside the tower, Era's device pulsed brighter. "Ta," her voice reached him through their bond. Connection established. "They're responding." Ta maintained his position, feeling strangely peaceful despite the chaos. The symbiosis had changed him fundamentally. He was still human, but something more as well. Through Era's memories, he understood the significance of what was happening. The sky above the mountains suddenly brightened as a craft descended through the clouds. Unlike Era's small vessel, this ship was massive, at least 100 meters across, with smooth lines that seemed to bend light around its hull. The government agents scattered, some raising weapons while others retreated down the mountain. Spotlights from the ship bathed the area in brilliant white light. Tay released his energy field and returned to the tower. Era stood on the observation deck, looking up at her ship with mixed emotions flowing through their bond: relief, apprehension, and something like sadness. "They're here," she said simply. "What happens now?" Ty asked. "That depends on what I tell them. What we tell them." The ship hovered silently above the tower, then extended a beam of light that enveloped them both. Ta felt a gentle upward pull as they were lifted from the observation deck. The government agents below watched helplessly as they ascended toward the waiting vessel. Inside the ship, they were met by 3 Nuri who resembled Era, but wore formal attire marked with symbols of authority. Their skin patterns glowed with different intensities and colors, signifying their ranks. Lieutenant Commander Era Kim, the lead Nuri, addressed her in their language, though Tai understood perfectly through their connection. "You have violated primary contact protocols. Explain yourself." Era stood straight, her demeanor shifting to that of a disciplined officer. "The crash was unavoidable. I initiated emergency protocols to preserve mission data." The lead Nuri turned to Tai, studying him with obvious surprise. "The symbiotic bond you formed with this human is unprecedented. Our sensors detect full integration at cellular levels." "That is what I need to report," Era replied. "We have significantly underestimated human potential." She stepped forward and placed her hand on a console. Information flowed from her mind into the ship's systems, everything she had learned about humans through her connection with Ta. The Nuri officials watched in silence as the data transferred. Their expressions shifted from skepticism to astonishment. "This cannot be correct," one said finally. "Human biology shouldn't be capable of this level of energy production or neural adaptation." "Yet it is," Era insisted. "I propose an immediate revision of Earth's classification. Humans aren't merely a developing species, they represent an entirely new category." Todd felt the weight of the moment through their connection. This wasn't just about his rescue or Era's mission. It was about humanity's place in the cosmos. "May I speak?" he asked, surprising the officials with his use of their language. The lead Nuri nodded cautiously. Your people have watched Earth for centuries, judging us by our conflicts and limitations, Ta said. But you've been measuring the wrong things. Our strength isn't in our technology or even our intelligence. It's in our adaptability, our capacity to form connections. He extended his hand, summoning the blue energy that now came easily to him. What Era and I have become together is just the beginning of what's possible. The officials conferred among themselves, their skin patterns flashing in rapid communication. Finally, the leader turned back to them. The council must be informed immediately. This changes everything. He gestured to Era. You will return with us to present your findings. And what about Ta? Era asked. The human must come as well. The symbiosis between you cannot be separated without risk to both. As the ship ascended into the upper atmosphere, Ta looked through a viewing port at the shrinking Earth below. The government teams appeared as tiny points of light on the mountain, unaware of how significantly the universe had just changed. Are you afraid? Era asked him privately through their bond. No, Tay replied truthfully. This feels right somehow. In the ship's communication center, Era prepared to transmit a message that would forever alter the relationship between their species. The traditional first contact protocols were obsolete now, rendered meaningless by what they have become together. What will your people think when they learn what's happened? Tai asked. They'll be frightened at first, Era admitted. Change always brings fear, but they'll adapt. That's one thing our species have in common. As Earth faded from view and the stars brightened around them, Ta felt a profound sense of peace. What had begun as a desperate measure for survival, his human body becoming her alien fuel, had transformed into something neither of their worlds could have imagined. A template for true cooperation between species. In the vast emptiness of space, humanity had finally found its place, not as conquerors or subjects, but as equals whose unique biology made them perfect partners in the cosmic community. The end.